I stand in a courtroom, facing my only son across the aisle. He is suing me for harassment and invasion of privacy. The charge: repeatedly showing up uninvited at his home. But I know the truth behind why I kept coming back. I was not being a nosy mother. I was trying to save someone's life. As the judge asks my son's lawyer to present the case, I feel my hands trembling. Everything I have sacrificed, every sleepless night, every ignored phone call has led to this moment. My son wants me legally banned from his life. The courtroom feels colder than it should for a spring morning in Sacramento. I sit at the defendant's table with Mr. Garcia, my court-appointed lawyer, who shuffles through papers with the exhaustion of someone handling too many cases at once. Across from us, my son Tyler sits rigid beside his attorney, a sharp woman in her 40s named Miss Brennan. Behind him in the gallery sits Amanda, his wife of 3 years, her face arranged in an expression of concern that I no longer believe is genuine. My mind drifts back as I wait for the proceedings to begin. Tyler is 34 now, but I can still see the 7-year-old boy who clung to me at his father's funeral. My husband David died of a heart attack while mowing the lawn on a Saturday afternoon. One moment he was alive, waving at our neighbor, and the next, he was gone. Tyler and I became everything to each other after that. I worked 2 jobs to raise him right. During the week, I was a dental hygienist at Dr. Patterson's office downtown, and on weekends I worked as a catering assistant for a local events company. The work was hard, the hours long, but I wanted Tyler to have opportunities. I saved every spare dollar for his college fund. I drove him to soccer practice, helped with homework at the kitchen table late into the night, attended every school play and parent-teacher conference. Tyler was a good kid. Thoughtful, smart, kind. He got a scholarship to UC Davis and studied computer science. After graduation, he landed a job at a tech company in the city. He called me every Sunday without fail. We had brunch together twice a month. On holidays, he would show up at my apartment with flowers and whatever dessert he knew I loved. We were close. We were a team. 3 years ago, Tyler told me he had met someone at work. Her name was Amanda. He showed me her picture on his phone. A polished woman with perfect makeup and an expensive-looking blazer. He seemed happy. So I was happy. When he brought her to meet me for dinner, she was polite and articulate. She worked in project management at the same company. She talked about her career goals, her organized lifestyle, her belief in efficiency and structure. I thought she seemed a bit intense, maybe a little cold, but Tyler was glowing. Who was I to judge? They got engaged after 8 months. The wedding was beautiful, held at a vineyard in Napa Valley. I paid for half of it, $23,000 that wiped out most of my savings. I did not hesitate. It was my son's wedding. I wanted him to have a perfect day. But after the wedding, something shifted. Tyler's Sunday calls became less frequent. First, he would skip a week here and there. Then the calls came every 2 weeks, then monthly. When I called him, Amanda often answered, saying Tyler was busy with a work project or that they had plans. His texts became shorter, more distant. Our brunches stopped happening. He made excuses. Work deadlines, house projects, Amanda's family visiting. I tried to be understanding. I did not want to be that mother, the one who could not accept that her son had a wife now, a life of his own. I gave them space, but the nagging worry in my gut would not go away. Then, about 18 months ago, I saw Tyler for the first time in 2 months. We met for lunch at a cafe near his office. He looked different. He had lost weight, maybe 15 or 20 pounds, and his face looked gaunt. His eyes had dark circles underneath, and his hands shook slightly when he lifted his coffee cup. When I asked if he was feeling all right, Amanda appeared at our table. I had not known she was joining us. She slid into the seat beside Tyler and answered for him, her voice bright and efficient. "He has just been stressed about a big project at work," she said, placing her hand over his. "You know how it is in tech. Long hours, lots of pressure." Tyler nodded silently, staring at his untouched sandwich. Something about the way he flinched when Amanda touched him made my stomach clench. Something about the way he said nothing, just nodded along to her words, felt wrong. That was when my motherly instinct kicked into high gear. Something was very wrong. Miss Brennan's voice pulls me back to the present. She stands, smoothing her navy suit, and addresses the judge. Your Honor, my client, Tyler, has been subjected to months of harassment by his mother, the defendant. Despite multiple requests to respect his privacy and his marriage, she has appeared uninvited at his home on 12 separate occasions over the past 6 months. She has called his workplace repeatedly. She has sent numerous texts and emails after being explicitly asked to stop. This behavior has caused significant distress to my client and his wife, who suffers from anxiety that has been exacerbated by these intrusions. Miss Brennan presents a timeline, projected on a screen for the court, dates and times of my visits to their house, printouts of text messages I sent, call logs from Tyler's work phone. Laid out like this. I understand how it looks. I look obsessed, unhinged, the stereotypical overbearing mother who cannot let go of her adult son. Mr. Garcia glances at me with something like pity. He clearly believes I am exactly what Miss Brennan is describing. The judge, a stern man in his 60s named Judge Harrison, reviews the documents. Then he asks Tyler to take the stand. Tyler walks to the witness box with his head down. He places his hand on the Bible, swears to tell the truth, and sits. Miss Brennan asks him to describe my behavior. When Tyler speaks, his voice cracks with what sounds like genuine pain. My mother has made my wife feel unsafe in our own home, he says. Not meeting my eyes. Amanda has anxiety, and my mother's constant showing up without calling first, knocking on our door at odd hours. It has made everything worse. I love my mother. I do, but I need her to respect our boundaries. I think she needs professional help. This is not normal. The words hit me like physical blows. My own son, suggesting in open court that I am mentally unstable. The courtroom murmurs. A few people in the gallery shake their heads. Even Mr. Garcia looks at me differently now, with that careful expression people use around someone they think might be fragile, might break. This is worse than I imagined. Tyler is not just angry with me. He genuinely believes I am the problem. He believes I am harassing them. He believes I need psychiatric help. My heart shatters as I watch my son, the boy I raised alone, the man I sacrificed everything for, sit on that stand and paint me as the villain in his story. After Tyler's testimony, Mr. Garcia asks if I would like to take the stand. I nod, my throat tight. I need to explain. I need them to understand. I sit in the same chair where Tyler sat moments ago. The courtroom feels enormous from here, all eyes on me. Mr. Garcia stands and asks me to explain my side. I was not invading their privacy. I begin, my voice steadier than I feel. I was concerned. Tyler is my only child. After his father died, we became very close. We stayed close through his entire adult life, up until he married Amanda. Then everything changed. I described the differences I noticed. The weight loss, the exhaustion, the way Tyler stopped calling, stopped visiting, the way he seemed to shrink into himself during that lunch, letting Amanda speak for him. I tell the court about the time I showed up at their house and heard raised voices inside. When I knocked, Amanda answered with a bright smile, told me everything was fine, and closed the door before I could see Tyler. Miss Brennan objects. Speculation, Your Honor. The defendant is making assumptions based on her own paranoia. Sustained. Judge Harrison says, Mrs. Nicole, please stick to facts, not interpretations. I take a breath and continue. I called Tyler's workplace because he had not returned my calls for 3 weeks. That is not like him. His coworker, a man named Sam, told me Tyler had been taking an unusual amount of sick leave. That worried me more. I described the other visits. The time I drove by their house in the evening and saw Tyler sitting alone in his car in the driveway for over an hour, just sitting there like he was afraid to go inside. The time I sent him a text asking if he was okay and got a response that did not sound like him, too formal, too cold. Miss Brennan objects repeatedly. The judge sustains most of them. I am not allowed to speculate. I am not allowed to interpret. I can only state bare facts, which, stripped of context, make me sound exactly like what they are accusing me of being. Mr. Garcia presents my evidence. Text messages showing me reaching out to Tyler, asking to talk, expressing concern, call logs showing my attempts to reach him. But without Tyler's responses, without the context, it just looks like I was bombarding him with unwanted contact. I feel the case slipping away. I look at Tyler, silently begging him to see me, really see me. But he stares at the table in front of him. Then I remember. I have a recording, I say suddenly. From my last visit to their house, the courtroom stirs. Miss Brennan shoots to her feet. Objection, Your Honor. If the defendant recorded my client without consent, that violates wiretapping laws. Your Honor. Mr. Garcia says, suddenly alert. Mrs. Nicole was standing on a public porch. The recording was accidental. Her phone was in her pocket, and she pressed the wrong button. But once she realized it was recording, she heard something that concerned her deeply. Judge Harrison considers this. I will allow it, but it must be directly relevant to the case. Mr. Garcia connects my phone to the courtroom's audio system. My hands shake as I watch him set it up. This recording is the only real evidence I have that I am not crazy, that my concerns are valid. The audio begins to play. At first, it is just my voice, calling out as I knock on their front door. Tyler? Honey, it is Mom. I just want to talk for a minute. Please, I am worried about you. Silence. Then, faintly, voices inside the house. Amanda's voice, sharp and cold, nothing like the sweet tone she uses in public. Do not answer it. If you talk to her, you will regret it. Tyler's voice, quiet and strained. She is my mother. She will keep worrying if I do not at least tell her I am fine. Your mother, Amanda says, her voice dripping with contempt, is a manipulative, pathetic woman who cannot accept that you do not need her anymore. She is trying to control your life. If you open that door, I am calling my brother, and you know what happens then? A long pause. Then footsteps, walking away from the door, not toward it, away. The recording ends. The courtroom is completely silent. You could hear a pin drop. I watch the faces around me change. The pity in Mr. Garcia's eyes shifts to concern. Judge Harrison leans forward, his expression serious. Even a few people in the gallery look uncomfortable. This does not sound like a concerned wife protecting her anxious husband. This sounds like something else entirely. This sounds like control. I look at Tyler. His face has gone pale, almost gray. His hands grip the edge of the table. Amanda sits frozen behind him, her composure cracking for just a second before she recovers. She leans forward and whispers urgently to Miss Brennan. Miss Brennan stands quickly, attempting damage control. Your Honor, this audio is taken completely out of context. My client's wife was understandably frustrated after months of boundary violations. She was venting in her own home. The defendant has manipulated this recording to support her narrative, but Judge Harrison is not looking at Miss Brennan. He is looking at Tyler. Mr. Tyler, the judge says, his voice firm. I need you to answer a question honestly. Who is your wife's brother, and what role does he play in your personal affairs? Tyler hesitates. His jaw works like he is trying to form words but cannot. Finally, he says, his name is Derek Paulson. He helps us with our finances sometimes. What kind of help? The judge presses. He manages some of our accounts. Investment strategies, that kind of thing. Does he have power of attorney? Tyler's eyes drop. Yes, Your Honor. For some of the accounts. I cannot stay silent. Your Honor, Derek Paulson manages all of Tyler's accounts. After they got married, Tyler gave him power of attorney. But I do not think it was Tyler's idea. I think Amanda and her brother have been controlling more than just finances. Miss Brennan objects again, but Judge Harrison holds up a hand. I want to hear what Mrs. Nicole has to say. I take a deep breath and tell them everything. I tell them about Marcus, Tyler's best friend from college who called me 6 months ago. Marcus said Tyler had cut off contact with all their friends. When Marcus showed up at the house to check on him, Amanda told him Tyler did not want to see him anymore and closed the door in his face. I tell them about the bruises I saw on Tyler's wrist once, when we met for coffee and his sleeve rode up. He pulled it down quickly and said he had bumped into a door. I tell them about the research I did on Derek Paulson, how he has a criminal record, an assault charge from 8 years ago that was dismissed on a technicality, how he calls himself a financial consultant but has no legitimate business registration that I could find. I believe, I say, my voice breaking, that Derek is controlling my son's money and Amanda is controlling my son's life. Together, they have isolated him from everyone who cares about him. I know how I look. I know I seem crazy, but I would rather look crazy and be wrong than stay silent and let my son disappear. The courtroom is quiet again. Tyler has his head in his hands. Amanda's face is a mask of barely controlled rage. Miss Brennan, looking rattled now, calls Amanda to the stand as a rebuttal witness. Amanda takes the oath and sits, composing herself. She describes me as delusional, obsessive. She plays the perfect victim, the devoted wife trying to protect her struggling husband from his overbearing mother. Her performance is flawless. But then Mr. Garcia, who has been taking notes frantically, asks her a simple question. Mrs. Amanda, he says, you mentioned your brother helps with finances. Can you tell the court how much money your husband currently has in his personal bank account? Amanda blinks. I do not monitor his accounts. That would be invasive. But your brother does, correct? As power of attorney. For investment purposes, yes. So how much? Amanda's face tightens. I do not have those figures memorized. Judge Harrison interjects. Do you know approximately? Thousands? Tens of thousands. There is a long pause. Amanda's voice is tight, defensive. My husband's finances are private. I cannot help myself. I stand up, tears streaming down my face. He had $230,000 when you married him. His father's life insurance, his college fund, his savings from years of work. I helped him manage it for years before you came along, and now he will not even tell me if he can pay his mortgage. Tyler's head drops into his hands. Amanda's perfect mask slips completely. For just a second, her face shows pure, undiluted rage before she controls it again. But everyone saw it. The judge saw it. The whole courtroom saw the real Amanda beneath the performance. Judge Harrison calls for a 15-minute recess. I sit on a bench in the hallway outside the courtroom, my whole body shaking. Mr. Garcia sits beside me, no longer looking at me like I am a troubled woman. He looks concerned, focused. I made some calls during the recess, he says quietly. I have a contact in the district attorney's office. Derek Paulson is currently being investigated by the State Financial Crimes Unit. 3 other people have filed complaints about missing money. They are building a case. My heart pounds. 3 other people, 3 other men who gave him power of attorney. All of them lost significant amounts of money. The pattern is similar to what you are describing with your son. I feel sick. This is bigger than I thought. This is not just about a controlling wife. This is organized. This is calculated. When we return to the courtroom, Judge Harrison looks serious. He addresses the court. During the recess, I took the liberty of reviewing some public records. The power of attorney documents filed in this county show that Derek Paulson has full access to Mr. Tyler's accounts, including authority to make withdrawals without approval. Mr. Tyler, I need you to answer this honestly. Did you willingly grant this level of access? Tyler looks trapped. Amanda said it was for tax purposes. Her brother said it would help with investment strategies, that I could see better returns. Did you read the documents before signing them? Derek said it was standard paperwork, that everyone does it this way. That is not what I asked. Did you read the documents yourself before signing? Tyler's voice is barely a whisper. No, Your Honor. Judge Harrison's expression hardens. Do you currently have access to your own bank accounts? Can you log in and see your balances? I used to, but Derek changed the passwords about 6 months ago. He said it was for security reasons. He sends me monthly statements. And do these statements show all transactions? Tyler hesitates. I do not know. I trust him. I cannot stay quiet. Your Honor, I know I have crossed boundaries. I know I have seemed irrational. But my son will not talk to me. His friends cannot reach him. He looks terrified. I do not care if he is angry with me for the rest of his life. I just need someone to check that he is safe and that his life is not being stolen from him. Amanda stands up in the gallery, her voice rising. This is insane. We are the victims here. She is twisting everything to make herself look like some kind of hero. She is a mentally unstable woman who cannot accept that her son grew up and does not need her anymore. Mrs. Amanda, Judge Harrison says sharply, sit down and be quiet, or I will have you removed from this courtroom. Amanda sits, but her face is flushed with anger. Then Tyler stands. His whole body is shaking. When he speaks, his voice is barely above a whisper. But in the silent courtroom, everyone hears him. I want to go home with my mother. The courtroom freezes. No one moves. No one breathes. Amanda's face goes white. Tyler, what are you saying? You are upset. You are not thinking clearly. Tyler's voice gets louder, stronger. I want to leave with my mother. Right now, Miss Brennan tries to interject. Your Honor, my client is clearly experiencing emotional distress. He is not in a state to make rational decisions. But Tyler keeps talking. The words pour out of him like water from a broken dam. I cannot access my own money. Derek changed all the passwords 6 months ago and will not give them to me. Amanda locked my phone with parental controls like I am a child. I cannot download apps without her permission. I cannot go anywhere without telling her exactly where I am going and how long I will be. She tracks my car. I have not seen Marcus or any of my friends in over a year because she says they are bad influences. I wanted to call my mom so many times, but Amanda said if I contacted her, Derek would make sure I lost everything. The house, the money, all of it. She said I would end up with nothing, that I would be homeless, that no one would believe me because everyone thinks she is so perfect. His voice breaks. He is sobbing now, tears streaming down his face. I have been so scared. I did not know how to get out. I felt trapped. Every day, I wake up and I feel like I cannot breathe. I sleep in the guest room because Amanda says I snore. But really, it is because she wants to control when I sleep. She comes in throughout the night to check that I am still there. I feel like I am in prison in my own house. He looks at Judge Harrison with desperate eyes. Please, I do not want to be married anymore. I do not want them anywhere near me. I just want my mom. I just want to go home. Amanda erupts. She jumps to her feet, screaming. He is lying. He is having a breakdown. This is what she does. She manipulates him. She makes him think things that are not true. Your Honor, you cannot believe this. Suddenly, a man stands up in the back of the courtroom. He is large, muscular, with a shaved head and an aggressive stance. You are not going anywhere, Tyler, the man shouts. You signed contracts. You made commitments. You try to walk away from this, and you will lose everything. Everything. I will make sure of it. Security guards move toward the man. Judge Harrison bangs his gavel. Who are you? Derek Paulson, the man says. His brother-in-law. The guy who has been managing his money while he plays video games and feels sorry for himself. Mr. Paulson, sit down immediately, or you will be removed. You cannot do this, Derek shouts. He owes me. He owes us. The bailiffs grab Derek and start escorting him out. He fights them, yelling profanities, making threats. Amanda is yelling too, pointing at me, calling me terrible names, saying I have ruined everything. Judge Harrison bangs his gavel repeatedly. Order. I will have order in this courtroom. It takes several minutes for the chaos to settle. Derek is removed, still shouting threats. Amanda is warned that if she speaks again without being addressed, she will be removed as well. She sits, rigid with fury. Tyler is shaking so hard I can see it from across the room. He looks like he might collapse. Judge Harrison takes a long breath. When he speaks, his voice is grave. This court is now concerned with Mr. Tyler's immediate safety and financial security. Miss Brennan, Your motion for a restraining order against Mrs. Nicole is denied. Furthermore, I am issuing an emergency protective order. Mrs. Amanda and Mr. Derek Paulson are to have no contact whatsoever with Mr. Tyler until a full investigation is completed by the appropriate authorities. Amanda gasps. You cannot do that. I am his wife. I can, and I am. I am also ordering an immediate freeze on all accounts currently under Derek Paulson's control pending a thorough financial review by the court. Mr. Tyler, do you have somewhere safe you can stay tonight? Tyler looks at me. With my mother. If she will have me. My heart breaks and mends at the same time. Always, I whisper. Always. Judge Harrison nods. I am granting a police escort for Mr. Tyler to retrieve essential personal belongings from the marital home this afternoon. Mrs. Amanda, if the home is in your husband's name, you will need to make arrangements to vacate the premises within 72 hours. Do you understand? Amanda says nothing. Her lawyer nods reluctantly. This hearing is adjourned. Mrs. Nicole, take your son home. The courthouse feels different when we walk out. Tyler moves slowly, like he is in shock. Mr. Garcia shakes my hand, tells me to call him if I need anything else. For the first time since this ordeal began, someone looks at me with respect instead of pity. We walk to my car in silence. Tyler gets in the passenger seat and just sits there, staring straight ahead. I start the engine but do not pull out of the parking spot yet. I am sorry, Tyler says finally. His voice is hoarse from crying. Mom, I am so sorry. You do not need to apologize. I tried to have you legally banned from my life. I stood up in court and said you needed psychiatric help. I made everyone think you were crazy. I reach over and take his hand. You were surviving. You did what you needed to do to stay safe. I was so weak. You were strong. You are strong. You held on long enough for someone to notice. You held on long enough to ask for help when you had the chance. The drive to my apartment takes 20 minutes. Tyler does not say much. He stares out the window like he is seeing the world for the first time. When we get to my small one-bedroom apartment, he looks around like he has never been here before, even though he has visited dozens of times over the years. I forgot how small it is, he says. You can have the bedroom. I will take the couch. Mom, no. This is your place. Tyler, you are staying in the bedroom. End of discussion. He is too exhausted to argue. I show him where the towels are, tell him to take a shower if he wants. While he is in the bathroom, I call the police non-emergency line and arrange the escort to his house so he can get his things. They tell me they can do it this evening. I start cooking. It is almost dinner time, and I do not know when Tyler last ate a real meal. I make meatloaf with mashed potatoes and green beans, his favorite meal from childhood. Simple, comforting, exactly what he needs. When Tyler emerges from the shower wearing clean clothes from a bag he kept in his car, his eyes are red, but he looks calmer. He sees the food on the table, and his face crumples. You made meatloaf. Sit down and eat. We eat in silence at first. Tyler eats slowly, like he has to remember how to taste food. Halfway through the meal, he starts talking. It happened so gradually. He says, Amanda was not like this at first. She was charming, organized. I liked that she had her life together. After Dad died, I always felt like things were chaotic. Amanda made everything feel structured, you know? Safe. I nod, letting him talk. After the wedding, she started making little comments. About how my friends were immature. About how you called too much. How you were too involved in my life. At first, I defended everyone, but she was so calm about it, so reasonable. She would say things like, I am not saying you cannot see them. I am just pointing out patterns. And I started doubting myself. He takes a breath. Then Derek got involved. He came over for dinner one night and started talking about investments. He said I was wasting money leaving it in a regular savings account. He offered to help me get better returns. It seemed smart. He is Amanda's brother, so I trusted him. When did you sign the power of attorney? About a year after the wedding. Derek said it was just paperwork so he could move money between accounts on my behalf. He made it sound so normal. Amanda was there. encouraging me, saying her brother was really good at this stuff. So I signed. Tyler's hands shake as he sets down his fork. At first, everything seemed fine. Derek would send me statements showing my money growing. But then I tried to log in to check on something, and my password did not work. When I called Derek, he said he had upgraded the security and would send me the new password. He never did. When I asked again, he got angry. He said I did not trust him, that I was being ungrateful. Amanda backed him up. She said I was being paranoid, that I should focus on my job and let Derek handle the finances. Every time I brought it up, it turned into a huge fight. Eventually, I just stopped asking. I reach across the table and squeeze his hand. That is how they operate. They make you feel like you are the problem for having normal concerns. The worst part is, I knew something was wrong. I knew it in my gut, but I did not know how to get out. I felt like if I left, if I told anyone, I would lose everything. Derek has all my money. What was I supposed to do? I could not even afford a lawyer to fight him without access to my own funds. What about your job? Your paycheck? Tyler looks ashamed. Amanda insisted we set up direct deposit into a joint account. She said married couples should share finances, but then she said Derek should manage the joint account too, for consistency. My paychecks go into an account I cannot access. Amanda gives me an allowance, $200 a month for gas and lunch. That is it. I feel rage building in my chest, but I keep my voice calm. Did she hurt you physically? The bruises I saw. Once, about 8 months ago, I told her I wanted to see Marcus. She grabbed my wrist so hard it left marks. She said if I contacted any of my old friends, Derek would empty every account and disappear, and I would be left with nothing. She said no one would believe me if I accused them because everyone thinks she is perfect. And she was right. Everyone does think she is perfect. Not anymore. Tyler laughs bitterly. Because you would not give up. Mom, everyone told you that you were wrong. Everyone thought you were the problem. How did you keep going? Because you are my son. And a mother knows. We know when something is wrong with our children, no matter how old they are. I did not care what anyone thought of me. I only cared about getting you somewhere safe. We finish dinner. Tyler helps me wash dishes. It is such a simple, normal thing, standing side by side at my tiny kitchen sink. But it feels monumental. My son is here. He is safe. That evening, 2 police officers arrive to escort Tyler to his house. I go with them. When we pull up to the large craftsman-style home in a nice neighborhood, my chest tightens. This is where my son has been living in fear. Amanda is inside, as required by the court order. She has to stay while Tyler retrieves his belongings, but she cannot interfere. When we enter, she stands in the living room with her arms crossed. This is a mistake, she says coldly. You are going to regret this, Tyler. One of the officers steps forward. Mom, you are not to speak to him. Step back. Tyler moves through the house quickly, grabbing clothes, his laptop, important documents. He moves like someone escaping a burning building. In the bedroom, I see how he has been living. The master bedroom has Amanda's things everywhere. Tyler's belongings are crammed into the small guest room, which has a single bed and a dresser. There is a lock on the outside of the door. One of the officers sees it too. He photographs it without saying anything, but I see his jaw tighten. Within 30 minutes, Tyler has packed 3 suitcases and 2 boxes. The officers help us carry everything to my car. As we are leaving, Amanda follows us onto the porch. You are making the biggest mistake of your life, she calls out. Derek is going to take everything. You will have nothing. Nothing. Tyler does not turn around. He gets in my car, and we drive away. Back at my apartment, we haul his belongings inside. It is cramped with all his stuff, but neither of us cares. Tyler collapses on the couch. What happens now? He asks. Now we figure it out, together. The next morning, everything changes again. A detective named Sarah Williams calls Tyler's phone. The Financial Crimes Unit wants to interview him about Derek Paulson. Tyler agrees immediately. At the police station, Detective Williams explains that Derek has been running a sophisticated financial exploitation scheme. He targets people through his sister Amanda. She meets men with assets, enters relationships with them, marries them quickly. Once married, Derek gains access to their finances through power of attorney. He slowly drains their accounts, moving money into offshore holdings that are difficult to trace. Then, they move on to the next victim. "You are the fourth victim we know of," Detective Williams says. "The other three lost everything. One man, Mr. Carter, lost $400,000. Another, Mr. Phillips, lost his house and ended up bankrupt. A third man, Mr. Thompson, lost so much that he attempted suicide. He survived, but barely." Tyler's face goes gray. "I could have been next." "You probably would have been," the detective says gently. "If your mother had not pushed the issue into court, if that judge had not taken her concerns seriously, you would have lost everything within another 6 months." That is the pattern we have seen. Over the next few weeks, Tyler cooperates fully with the investigation. He provides bank records, emails, text messages. He sits for hours of interviews. It is exhausting, dredging up every detail of the past 3 years. But he does it. The investigation moves quickly. Derek has been sloppy, overconfident. Bank records show he transferred $183,000 from Tyler's accounts into offshore holdings over the past year and a half. He left digital trails everywhere. Derek and Amanda are arrested on a Tuesday morning. The charges are extensive: financial exploitation, fraud, coercion, conspiracy. Amanda faces additional charges related to domestic emotional abuse under a newer legal framework in California for psychological control and isolation. When Tyler hears about the arrests, he breaks down crying. Not sad tears. Relief. Pure, overwhelming relief. Tyler files for divorce the day after Amanda is arrested. With Amanda in custody and facing serious charges, the divorce proceeds quickly. The house was in Tyler's name before the marriage. He keeps it. The prenuptial agreement Amanda insisted on, ironically meant to protect her assets, actually works in Tyler's favor. It proves she contributed nothing financially to the marriage, which strengthens his case for keeping everything that was his before they married. But Tyler does not want the house. Too many bad memories. He puts it on the market and it sells within 3 weeks. The profit, combined with what authorities managed to recover from Derek's accounts, gives him a fresh start. Authorities recover approximately $122,000 from Derek's accounts. The rest, about $60,000, is harder to trace. It was likely laundered through cryptocurrency and is probably gone forever. Tyler is devastated by the loss, but grateful he did not lose everything. He uses part of the recovered money to pay off the mortgage on a smaller house he buys across town. It is a modest bungalow with 2 bedrooms, a yard, and a front porch. It is nothing fancy, but it is his. Really his. No one else has keys. No one else has access to his accounts. He sets up his bank accounts at a new bank, with passwords only he knows. He attends a financial literacy course at the local community college and learns to manage everything himself. But the money is the least of it. The real damage is psychological. Tyler starts seeing a therapist named Dr. Linda Chen, who specializes in trauma. She diagnoses him with complex PTSD from the prolonged psychological abuse and control. "What you experienced, Dr. Chen tells him during one session, is called coercive control. It is a pattern of behavior designed to make you dependent and afraid. The isolation, the financial control, the monitoring, the threats, these are all recognized forms of intimate partner abuse. You do not need physical violence for it to be abuse." Hearing this helps Tyler. For so long, he felt ashamed that he let it happen. He felt weak for not fighting back sooner. But Dr. Chen helps him understand that coercive control is designed to break down a person's resistance over time. It is not weakness to be victimized. It is human. Tyler also starts rebuilding his relationships. Marcus, his college best friend, comes over with pizza and beer on a Friday night. They talk for 6 hours. Marcus admits he has been worried sick but did not know how to help when Tyler cut him off. I am sorry, Tyler says. I am sorry I disappeared. You do not need to apologize, Marcus says. You were trapped. I get it now. I just wish I had known sooner. They make a pact to have regular game nights. Every other Friday, Marcus comes over, sometimes bringing other friends from their college days. They play video games, watch movies, eat junk food. Tyler laughs again. Really laughs. For the first time in years. At work, Tyler's boss, a woman named Jennifer, calls him into her office one day. He is terrified he is going to be fired. His performance has been terrible for the past year, missing deadlines, taking excessive sick leave. But Jennifer surprises him. I heard what happened, she says gently. Not the details, just that you were going through something serious at home. I want you to know that we value you here. Take the time you need to get back on your feet. We will reassign some of your projects temporarily, but your job is secure. When you are ready, you will have a fresh start. Tyler is so relieved he almost cries. He thanks her and promises to do better. And he does. With the weight of Amanda and Derek off his shoulders, his work improves dramatically. Within 3 months, he is back to his old self, meeting deadlines, contributing ideas, engaging with his team. Nicole and Tyler attend a few family therapy sessions together. Tyler struggles with guilt about the courtroom, about accusing his mother of being unstable, about trying to have her legally removed from his life. I said terrible things, he tells the therapist. A woman named Dr. Patricia Moore. I told a judge my mother needed psychiatric help. I made everyone think she was the problem. Dr. Moore looks at Nicole. How do you feel about what Tyler said in court? Nicole takes a moment before answering. I was hurt in the moment. But I understood. Tyler was not in control of his own life. Amanda and Derek had convinced him that I was the enemy. Abusers do that. They isolate you from the people who love you by making you believe those people are harmful. Tyler was doing what he thought he had to do to survive. Tyler cries. I should have trusted you. I should have known you were trying to help. Honey, they spent 3 years breaking down your ability to trust your own judgment. That is what abusers do. They make you doubt yourself so completely that you cannot see what is happening to you. You were not weak. You were under attack. Over several sessions, they work through the guilt and pain. They establish new boundaries that are healthy, not controlling. Tyler does not need to call his mother every day, but they have dinner together once a week. Nicole respects his need for space and independence. Tyler actually wants her involved in his life again, but on terms that work for both of them. One evening, about 6 months after the courtroom drama, Tyler shows up at Nicole's apartment with flowers. What are these for? She asks. For being my mom. For not giving up. For being willing to look crazy if it meant keeping me safe. Nicole hugs him tight. I would do it again in a heartbeat. They have dinner together, take out Chinese food eaten straight from the containers while sitting on her couch watching a movie. It is perfect in its simplicity. A few weeks later, Tyler mentions he has started dating again. Nicole is nervous but tries to be supportive. He tells her about a woman named Jenny, a 3rd-grade teacher he met at a coffee shop. They have been on 3 dates. I was honest with her from the start, Tyler says. I told her about Amanda, about what happened. I figured if it scared her off, better to know now. And she said it took incredible strength to survive that, and even more strength to heal from it. She said she would like to get to know me better. Nicole smiles. She sounds smart. After 3 months of dating, Tyler brings Jenny to meet his mother. Nicole is cautious, watching carefully. But what she sees reassures her. Jenny is kind without being controlling. She asks Tyler his opinions and actually listens to his answers. She encourages his friendships with Marcus and his other friends. When they all go out to dinner together, Jenny fits right in with the group, laughing and joking without trying to monopolize Tyler's attention. During one game night at Tyler's house, Nicole watches Jenny interact with Marcus and the others. Jenny is playing a board game, trash-talking playfully, completely comfortable with Tyler having close friendships. This is what healthy looks like. Later, when Tyler walks Nicole to her car, she says, I like her. Yeah, yeah. She is good for you. She makes you smile. She does. Tyler agrees. It is so different this time, Mom. I can be myself. I can have friends. I can make my own decisions. She does not try to control anything. It is like I forgot what a normal relationship feels like. Nicole hugs her son. You deserve this. You deserve happiness and freedom and love that does not hurt. 6 months into their relationship, Tyler tells Nicole that Jenny wants to meet her for lunch, just the two of them. Nicole is touched. They meet at a small cafe downtown. Jenny is nervous at first. I wanted to talk to you without Tyler here, she says. I know what happened with Amanda. Tyler told me everything. And I want you to know that I see how much you love your son. What you did for him, refusing to give up even when everyone thought you were wrong. That is the kind of love everyone should have. Nicole feels tears prick her eyes. Thank you. And I want you to know, Jenny continues, that I will never try to come between you two. I think it is wonderful that you are close. A man who loves and respects his mother is a man who knows how to love and respect a partner. They talk for 2 hours. By the end, Nicole feels confident that her son has found someone who truly cares for him. The criminal trial for Amanda and Derek takes place almost exactly 1 year after the courthouse scene that changed everything. Nicole and Tyler sit in the gallery, watching as the prosecution presents its case. The evidence is overwhelming. Bank records show the systematic theft of Tyler's money. Emails between Amanda and Derek reveal the calculated nature of their scheme. Text messages show Amanda coordinating with her brother about how much money they could take without Tyler noticing immediately. The other victims testify. Mr. Carter, who lost $400,000, describes how Derek convinced him to sign over power of attorney for retirement accounts. Mr. Phillips tells the jury how he lost his house and ended up living in his car for 6 months. Mr. Thompson, who survived his suicide attempt, testifies about the despair of losing everything and feeling like he had no way out. Tyler testifies too. He describes the gradual isolation, the financial control, the fear. His voice is steady but emotional. When the prosecutor asks him what he thinks would have happened if his mother had not intervened, Tyler says, I think I would have lost everything. My money, my house, maybe my life. I was not in a good place mentally. If it had gone on much longer, I do not know what I would have done. Amanda's defense attorney tries to paint her as a devoted wife, who was simply frustrated with an overbearing mother-in-law. But the evidence contradicts this narrative at every turn. The recordings, the financial records, the testimonies of multiple victims, it all points to a deliberate, coordinated scheme. Derek's defense is even weaker. His attorney argues that Derek was simply providing financial advice and that any money he moved was for legitimate investment purposes. But the prosecution shows that Derek has no real financial credentials, no legitimate business, and a history of fraud complaints. The jury deliberates for less than 4 hours, guilty on all counts. The sentencing hearing takes place 2 weeks later. The judge, a stern woman named Judge Patricia Reynolds, reviews the evidence and the victim impact statements. This court has rarely seen such a calculated, heartless scheme, Judge Reynolds says. Mr. Derek Paulson, you systematically targeted vulnerable people, gained their trust through your sister, and then robbed them of their life savings. You showed no remorse, no empathy. You treated people like resources to be exploited. Derek gets 8 years in state prison for fraud, financial exploitation, and conspiracy. Amanda gets 4 years, plus 3 years of probation after release, with mandated psychological treatment. Her sentence is lighter because she cooperated with the investigation in the end, testifying against Derek to try to save herself. But even in her testimony, she showed little genuine remorse. She expressed no empathy for Tyler or the other victims. She only seemed sorry that she got caught. As they are led away in handcuffs, Amanda glances back at Tyler. For a moment, her mask slips. There is rage in her eyes, pure hatred. But Tyler does not look away. He meets her gaze steadily, and then he looks forward. He does not give her the satisfaction of seeing fear or pain. He is done being her victim. Outside the courthouse, reporters want statements. Tyler politely declines most of them, but he does make one brief statement. If you think someone you love is being isolated or controlled, trust your instincts. Do not let anyone convince you that you are overreacting. And if you are the one being controlled, please know that it is not your fault. You are not weak. These predators are skilled at what they do. But there are people who will fight for you. There is a way out. The local news runs the story. Over the next few weeks, Tyler receives dozens of messages from people thanking him for speaking out. Some are from people in similar situations who found the courage to ask for help. Others are from family members who recognized the warning signs in their own loved ones. One woman writes to Tyler through social media, "I saw your story on the news. My daughter married someone 2 years ago, and I have noticed all the same signs you described. She stopped calling, she cut off her friends, she looks exhausted and afraid. I thought I was being an overprotective mother, but after hearing your story, I contacted a lawyer, and we are filing for a wellness check. Thank you for giving me the courage to trust my instincts." Tyler shows the message to Nicole with tears in his eyes. "Mom, we helped someone. You helped someone." Nicole corrects gently. By being brave enough to tell your story, Tyler's life continues to improve. He gets a promotion at work, a senior developer position with a significant raise. He and Jenny move in together after a year of dating, taking their time, building a foundation of trust and communication. Tyler introduces Jenny to all his friends. They host dinner parties. Tyler is relaxed, happy, himself. He even reconnects with some extended family members he had lost touch with during the years with Amanda. His cousin Laura, whom he had not seen in 3 years, comes to visit. She admits she tried to reach out several times, but Amanda always made excuses. "I thought you did not want to see us anymore," Laura says. "I thought you had just moved on from the family." "I never wanted that," Tyler says. "I was just trapped." 2 years after the trial, Tyler and Jenny get engaged. Tyler asks Nicole's blessing first, which makes her cry happy tears. The wedding is small, intimate, held in the backyard of Tyler's house. Marcus is the best man. Nicole walks Tyler down the aisle, and there is not a dry eye in attendance. During his vows, Tyler says something that surprises everyone. He looks at Nicole, sitting in the front row, and says, "Before I make my promises to Jenny, I need to acknowledge someone else. Mom, you saved my life. You refused to give up on me even when I gave up on myself. You were willing to be the villain in everyone else's story so you could be the hero in mine. Everything good in my life today exists because you would not stop fighting. I love you. Thank you for being my champion." Nicole is sobbing. Everyone is sobbing. Even Marcus has tears streaming down his face. After the wedding, during the small reception, Marcus pulls Nicole aside. "You know, we studied psychology in college," he says. "There was this whole section on coercive control and domestic abuse. I remember thinking it was awful, but I never imagined someone I knew would go through it. Tyler is only here today because you would not accept what everyone was telling you. You trusted yourself. You trusted your instincts as a mother. That is remarkable." Nicole smiles through tears. "I just did what any mother would do." "No," Marcus says firmly. "Most people would have backed off. Most people would have believed they were the problem when everyone said so. You did not. You saved him." It is now 3 years since that day in court, and Nicole sits in her living room reflecting on everything that has happened. Tyler and Jenny just left after their weekly dinner. They brought dessert, a chocolate cake from Nicole's favorite bakery. They talked about their vacation plans, about the new project Tyler is leading at work, about Jenny's students and the funny things they say. It was normal. Beautifully, perfectly normal. Nicole keeps a journal now. Her therapist suggested it as a way to process everything that happened. She writes about the fear she felt during those months when Tyler was pulling away. She writes about the courtroom, the judgment, the vindication. She writes about watching her son heal. One entry from a few months ago reads, "For so long, I doubted myself. Everyone made me feel like I was the problem. overbearing, intrusive, unable to let go. Even I started to believe it, but a mother knows her child, and sometimes, love means being willing to look crazy, to be hated, to be dragged into court, if it means keeping them safe. Another entry, more recent. Boundaries matter. I could not save Tyler by forcing my way in. I could only shine a light on what was happening and give him the choice to save himself. In the end, he had to be the one to say, "I want to leave." My job was just to be there when he was ready. Nicole often thinks about Judge Harrison's words at the end of that hearing. After Amanda and Derek were escorted out, after the chaos settled, the judge looked directly at Nicole and said something she will never forget. "Mrs. Nicole, this court owes you an apology. You were painted as an unstable woman who could not respect boundaries. But what I witnessed today was a mother who saw her son drowning and refused to look away, even when everyone told her the water was fine. Your persistence, however unconventional, likely saved your son's financial future and possibly his life. Sometimes the people who seem the most unreasonable are simply the only ones willing to tell an uncomfortable truth. This case is dismissed, and I am ordering that all filings be expunged from your record. You are free to go. And Tyler, you are free too." Those last words echo in Nicole's mind during difficult moments. You are free too. Tyler is free now. He has friends, a career he loves, a partner who respects him. He has access to his own money, his own choices, his own life. He smiles easily. He laughs often. He is not afraid anymore. Last month, Tyler and Jenny invited Nicole to Thanksgiving dinner at their house. It was a big gathering. Marcus was there with his fiancée. Jenny's parents came. Nicole's sister drove up with her husband and their 2 kids. The house was loud, chaotic, full of laughter and warmth. During dinner, Tyler stood and tapped his glass. The room quieted. "I want to say something," Tyler said, his voice strong and clear. 3 years ago, I was in the darkest place of my life. I felt alone even though I was constantly monitored. I felt poor even though I had money. I felt unloved even though someone claimed to love me, and the one person who actually did love me, unconditionally and fiercely, I tried to erase from my life." He looked at Nicole, his eyes wet. "Mom, you taught me that real love does not control. It does not isolate, it does not take. Real love fights for you, even when you fight against it. Real love trusts you to find your way but refuses to let you disappear. I am here today, happy and whole, because you would not give up. Thank you for being unreasonable. Thank you for being too much. Thank you for being my mom." Everyone raised their glasses. Nicole cried happy tears. It was one of the best moments of her life. Later that evening, after all the guests left, Tyler hugged Nicole tight at the front door. "I love you, Mom," he said. "I love you too, sweetheart. Always." Driving home, Nicole thought about everything they had been through. The pain, the fear, the courtroom humiliation, the vindication, the healing. She thought about the other victims who found courage through Tyler's story. She thought about that woman who wrote to Tyler, the one whose daughter was in a similar situation, and how they were able to intervene before it was too late. She thought about all the mothers and fathers out there who might be watching their adult children disappear into controlling relationships and second-guessing their instincts. Trust yourself, she thought. Trust that bond. Trust that if something feels wrong, it probably is. Do not let anyone convince you that love means letting go when it should mean holding on. Nicole has also become an advocate. She speaks at local support groups for families of abuse victims. She shares her story, offers hope, and encourages people to trust their instincts. Many people thank her afterward, telling her that her words gave them courage. One woman approached her after a meeting last week. "My son has not called me in 8 months, the woman said. His girlfriend answers his phone. She says he is busy, that he will call me back, but he never does. Everyone tells me to respect their privacy, that he is an adult, but something feels wrong. After hearing your story, I know I need to trust that feeling." Nicole gave the woman her phone number. "Trust yourself," she told her. And if you need help figuring out what to do, call me. Nicole has learned that being a good parent to an adult child does not mean disappearing. It means evolving. It means respecting their independence while still standing guard, watching for dangers they might not see. It means being willing to be the villain in someone else's story, if it means being the hero in your child's survival. Tyler recently told Nicole about a conversation he had with Dr. Chen, his therapist. They were discussing his recovery, and Dr. Chen said something profound. The fact that your mother kept pushing, kept showing up, kept making noise even when everyone told her to stop, that gave you a lifeline. Dr. Chen said, even in your darkest moments, even when you felt completely trapped, some part of you knew your mother was out there fighting for you. That knowledge, even subconsciously, gave you hope. It gave you a reason to hold on just a little longer. And that made all the difference. When Tyler shared this with Nicole, she cried. She had no idea that her persistence, which looked so irrational from the outside, had been a lifeline for her son even when he could not acknowledge it. Nicole's final journal entry, which she shared at the support group, reads, I learned that being a good parent to an adult child does not mean disappearing. It means evolving. It means respecting their independence while still standing guard at the perimeter of their life, watching for dangers they might not see. It means being willing to be the villain in someone else's story, if it means being the hero in your child's survival. And it means knowing that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is refuse to accept the role everyone assigns you, the crazy mother, the overbearing woman, the one who cannot let go, and instead insist on the truth. Even when no one wants to hear it. My son is free now. And so am I. We are free to love each other honestly, boundaries and all. And that is worth every moment I stood alone in that courtroom, everyone thinking I was wrong, holding on to the hope that one day the truth would speak louder than their judgment. It did. Love won. And we won it together. Nicole closes her journal and looks around her small apartment. It is not fancy, but it is full of love. Pictures of Tyler through the years cover the walls. A new photo from his wedding sits on her bookshelf. A thank you card from that woman whose daughter she helped sits on her counter. She thinks about how close she came to losing Tyler forever. If she had listened to everyone who told her to back off, if she had accepted the narrative that she was the problem, Tyler would have lost everything. He might not have survived. But she did not back off. She trusted herself. She trusted that bone-deep knowledge that every mother has, that instinct that tells you when your child is in danger. And because she trusted it, because she was willing to look irrational and invasive and crazy, her son is alive and thriving. Tomorrow, Nicole is meeting Tyler and Jenny for breakfast, just a simple meal at a diner they all love. They will talk about normal things. They will laugh. They will be a family. And that, Nicole thinks, is worth everything. If you have ever felt that something was wrong with someone you love, if you have ever been told you are overreacting or being too protective, I want you to ask yourself, what would you do if you knew your instincts were right? Would you trust yourself even when everyone else doubts you? Would you be willing to look foolish if it meant saving someone's life? These are not easy questions, and I would love to hear your thoughts. Please share your experiences in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, if it reminded you to trust your instincts and fight for the people you love, please give it a like and subscribe to hear more stories about resilience, courage, and the power of refusing to give up. Share this with someone who might need to hear it, someone who is doubting themselves, someone who needs permission to trust what they know in their heart. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it reminds you that love is not always quiet or convenient. Sometimes love is loud and inconvenient and stubborn. Sometimes love means refusing to be reasonable when reason tells you to abandon someone you cannot afford to lose. May you always have the courage to fight for what matters, and may you always trust the voice inside that tells you when something is wrong. Take care of yourselves, and take care of each other.